Well, it's a beautiful 60-degree day here in Gallup, New Mexico in late November, and I'm going to show you today a 2012 Ford Focus SE. The Ford Focus you see here is all new. And finally, here in the US, we're getting the same quality small car that the Europeans have been getting for a while now. As you can see, it's attractively styled. I don't know if you can tell from the shot, but I got to drive the 5-door, the hatchback, which I love hatchbacks and station wagons. So Ford has done a great job styling this car on the exterior. Now let me walk you through a few more of its fine qualities. 5-door, compact hatchback. Love it. This is the size car more Americans should be driving. Big dogs, couple kids, different story. Empty nesters, couples with no kids, singles. This car has more than enough space for what you need. Attractive, reasonably priced, good fuel economy to boot. The Ford Focus is using a 2-liter direct injected Duratec 4-cylinder. In this case, it makes 160 horsepower, 146 pound-feet of torque. Now it's hooked up to a dual clutch 6-speed automatic transmission. This is where I really had problems with the Powertrain combination. It's very frugal. 38 miles per gallon on the highway, 28 miles per gallon city, 40 if you spec it out accordingly with the right packages. And it's smooth, which is nice. The engine revs very easily. It doesn't make a lot of torque down low, but it is a 4-cylinder. And it doesn't have the typical 4-cylinder characteristic of kind of being a little harsh and kind of odd vibrations from being out of balance. That's good. Dual clutch is where I had some issues. The nice thing about a dual clutch is that you get kind of that manual feel where once you're in gear, it feels like you're directly connected in gear. The problem I have with this dual clutch is it doesn't quite replace an automatic in terms of smoothness and, well, for instance, you'd be pulling from a stop sign and you'd feel it in first and then it would kind of rev up and drop down into second, but it didn't feel like you were in second. It felt like you were still in first, almost like a CVT would feel like. Just kind of some odd feelings and clunkiness and things while driving it kind of at slower city speeds. In fact, I wondered if I had gotten a bad model, so I went online to see if others had issues like this. Come to find out, some people have experienced similar things. They said after a break-in period, it really seems to come into its own. Overall, I think with a break-in period, I could see this being a really great transmission. My car only having 60 miles on it, maybe that was the case, but something to consider when looking at the Focus. But overall, a pretty great powertrain package. As I mentioned earlier, I love station wagons, and in compact-sized cars, I love hatchbacks. The rear end, in my opinion, nicely matches the styling of the front end. Overall, very cohesive package, and it's attractive. I think it'll look good 5-6 years down the road. Rear storage is quite good. I can imagine getting 2 full-size pieces of luggage back here, as well as probably stacking on top a couple of carry-on size pieces of luggage. Underneath, spare tire, and of course the parcel shelf here, which conceals anything you have back here. Groceries, you're going to be able to fit quite a bit of groceries back here, especially if you're doing paper bags standing up, eco-friendly. Overall, this gives you quite a bit of space in a compact sized car. So let's take a look at the inside. As you may or may not know, compact cars are losing their value-priced stigma. While still cheaper than their larger counterparts, they're no longer just bare-bones models. Example here, the telescoping wheel, something that used to be such a luxury item, now standard fare. This model is actually equipped with a moonroof and heated seats. Now, this model also has the optional sync system. So as you can see, small cars are becoming more of a luxurious item. Or, well, more frankly, you're not just buying a cheap car just because it's small. Space here I found not to be a problem, particularly in the front. Granted, I'm 5'8", but most cars nowadays, the front is really not that small, even shoulder space. Power mirrors. The sync system, as I've mentioned before, works great with your smartphone. Push the button, tell it what you want to do, call home, call my wife, Bluetooth wirelessly stream some music, whatever you need to do. The Sync does it well, and this isn't even the My Ford Touch system. This is just the smaller upgrade, kind of optional Sync system. So as a whole, no real problems with the interior here. Quality's decent, soft touch rubber, automatic headlights with fog lights. My only real complaints, these seat heaters I mentioned, underneath the center console, armrest kind of hard to get at. I'm really not a huge fan of the central locking button in the center. I prefer it on the door. You're at the door, want to unlock the car for your daughter or whatever. You can't do it without reaching all the way into the car or fishing out your key out of your pocket to unlock it. Small gripes like that. Overall, a pretty pleasant place to be. Sitting behind myself in the Ford Focus, plenty of knee room, plenty of foot room, decent headroom. Again, I'm 5'8". Someone who's 6 foot or taller might have a little problem with headroom here. Okay, 3 abreast would be tight, but not terribly uncomfortable. So overall, not a really bad place to be. Compared to the Fiesta, this is where you're kind of gaining your space here and in the trunk, and also a little bit in shoulder room. Up front, first row, not quite as noticeable. So if you're going to be driving the car primarily for just yourself, one person, you may want to look at Ford's Fiesta as well. Just wanted to show you a little bit of just kind of the standard technology you're getting in cars today. I already mentioned the Sync system and the way that works and how nicely that works. I wanted to just show you this though. Steering wheel control 1 and 2. The one on the right here controls the screen in the middle. The one on the left controls the screen here in the center of the gauges. Now what's kind of cool is you can use this and slide back and forth. And I say slide because you'll notice the way Ford has kind of made the screen slide from spot to spot. Now I'm average fuel economy 21.5. Now granted, I idle a lot, shooting video, taking pictures, all sorts of stuff like that. So don't mind that fuel economy. But what's kind of neat is you can see anticipation and speed. Okay, and basically this is a driver aid that helps you get the most fuel economy out of your vehicle. Anticipation being braking, how hard you're accelerating, stuff like that. Speed, of course, being the types of speeds you're doing. You can see my current score is 1 starry leaf type of thing. So I don't know how much this would get used, but you can see even in a car like this, standard technology is becoming pretty impressive. I really don't have the ability to show you on video the way this car drives and responds. I'm not doing fancy stuff here. So I thought I'd at least talk you through it. Ford has been praised for its handling, driving dynamics with this car, and I found that pretty apparent. The steering is well weighted. Some might think it's initially kind of heavy, especially for a car this size. But once you get going with it, you get kind of used to that sprightly, connected feel, and it makes you want to dart in and out of traffic. The suspension kind of communicates that same thing. It's taut, well controlled. It has this go-kart feel. It really makes it fun to drive. Now, it's not a ton of suspension travel, so if you do live in an area of really rough roads or gravel roads, washboards, stuff like that, the Focus, it's not adept for that. For city driving, pulling in and out of parking lots and tight parking spaces and maneuvering in narrow city streets, the Focus is ideal for that. It really is quite fun to drive. So our domestics are really trying to bring their A game to the market when it comes to compacts, and they want to outclass the imports. Ford, no different. They're doing a great job here with the new Focus. So much so, I wondered if they should have given it a different name to distinguish it from the old car that everybody had experiences with. They're doing a lot to do great things in small packages. Direct injected engine, the flaps in the front, which I forgot to mention, which help improve fuel economy as you speed up. They close some of the vents. They're bringing in higher end features to smaller cars. This model's got the moonroof, the Sync, and that also brings us to the price. $18,000 is the base for this car, but when you add in the features here, the automatic transmission, the moonroof and Sync, like I mentioned, but also this one's got a cold weather package, so you got heated seats, heated mirrors, and so forth. As tested, that brings you to $22,000 for this car. Quite a bit of stuff that you're getting for only $22,000. And on that note, I highly recommend you test drive the Ford Focus. I want to give a special thanks to Gallup Motors for letting me test drive it for a few days. Thanks for watching.